Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well. I'm in my car, standard. I'm in my car with a coffee because today I am going to do a video I haven't done for a very, very long time. So long. I feel like I've done this twice before, but sort of near when I started my channel, not for such a long time. So I was quite excited to do this. I am doing a Q&A. I'm doing a coffee and a Q&A video. Of course, got my flat white from Costa. And I am ready. Now, I asked my followers over on Instagram to chuck me some questions. Anything that they would like to know, send them in to Instagram, and so I have handpicked some questions. There's quite a few here. I thought this was good for those new followers, because new followers come along all the time, especially since I've done my last Q&A, and it's a good way for you to find out little bits about me. So I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. So let's get straight into it. Question number 1. What is my favourite film? I hardly had to think about the answer to this. I actually have two. Two favourite films ever. They're old films. They're not recent at all. But the first one is Eat, Love, Pray, which was adapted from a book. If you've never watched it, it's about a lady that basically leaves her old life behind, her career, her relationship, everything, to travel. She visits 3 different places, gets in touch with her spirituality, and it's basically just about her growing as a person, and I absolutely love it. So first one, Eat, Love, Pray, and my second favourite film of all time, Good Will Hunting. What a film. Do you know what? I could sit and watch that film again and again and again. Amazing acting. Obviously, Will Damon plays the main part. You've got Robin Williams in there. Absolutely amazing film. So if you haven't seen them 2 films, Eat, Love, Pray and Good Will Hunting, totally recommend them. And they are I couldn't pick either one, so I had to pick 2. So they are my 2 favourite films of all time. Question number 2. What is my favourite restaurant? Now, I did have to think about the answer to this one a little bit. We've been lucky enough to eat in a lot of great restaurants all over, but do you know what my favourite restaurant is? That sun is really coming in. Not a bad thing, I'm not complaining. Spring is definitely in the air. My favourite restaurant is, it's not basic at all, but it's not particularly up there fancy, if you know what I mean. And my favourite restaurant is Bill's. I love Bill's restaurant. I always love the atmosphere, no matter what Bill's we go in across the country. Absolutely love it. Their menu is gorgeous. I just absolutely love Bill's. It's just, you know, you can't go wrong. You know, whatever you get, it's gonna taste so good. And bonus, Atticus loves it as well. So yeah, it's quite a regular thing to go there on my birthday each year with the family. And yeah, Bill's, I would choose Bill's any day. Like I say, we've visited quite a few, and you know, there's others obviously I could name for their just to name names really, but I like to keep it real, and my favourite restaurant is Bill's. There you go. Number 3, did I go to uni? If not, what would I have studied? No, I didn't go to uni, sadly. I would have loved to have gone to uni, but no, I didn't. And I know exactly what I would have studied, and it would have been law. I had a real interest in law growing up, particularly on the solicitor, barrister side of things, and to be honest, when I look back, when I left school, that is really what I wanted to do, and somehow it just didn't happen. Life happens. But yes, I wish I'd gone to uni and I would have studied law. Question number 4. Best things to do in New York, as I am going soon. So, New York, one of my favourite places on earth. We went to New York, oh my God, just over a year ago now. You can watch the New York vlogs way down below. Amazing. It was somewhere I'd always wanted to go. So when my wonderful daughter Anastasia surprised me with New York as a Christmas gift, it was like, yeah, amazing. So we went for a few days, and I can honestly say it's one of the best trips ever. So the things that I would recommend you do, number one, go to the top of the Rockefeller building. That really can't be missed, I think, if you visit New York. You go up in the lift, obviously, it's super tall, and the view from the top of the Rockefeller building is just intense. It's amazing. Obviously, you can see right over New York, Central Park, Empire State Building, absolutely everything. It is incredible. So definitely the Rockefeller building. What else should I put? Ellen's Diner. Now, Ellen's Diner was, for me, one of the highlights of our New York trip. It was basically a diner, restaurant, but all of the waiters and waitresses were from like Broadway, singers, actors, and they would just literally randomly break out into song. If you watch one of the New York vlogs way down below, you will see there's quite a big segment in Ellen's Diner. I absolutely loved it. So talented. And it was just so good to eat your food and be surrounded by all these talented singers that would just literally break out into song. It was crazy good. I absolutely loved Ellen's Diner. So Rockefeller building, Ellen's Diner. Oh, but tip for that, the queues can get quite long for Ellen's Diner, so bear that in mind, but totally worth it. Number three, obviously standard, Times Square. Not for anything in particular, but just to basically go to Times Square, sit there and take in the atmosphere and just look around, because it's Times Square. It's mad. Times Square is crazy. While we were there, we saw a snake being pushed in a stroller. It's mad. It's a mad place, but it has to be done. And then number four, walk across Brooklyn Bridge. That's one of the memories that will always stick with me, Anna and Atticus, walking along Brooklyn Bridge. It was wonderful. It was cold, but it was a nice winter's day, and you obviously could just see all of the skyline as you were walking towards it. It was incredible. So Rockefeller building, I could go on about New York for ages, but I won't. Rockefeller building, Ellen's Diner, Times Square, and walk across Brooklyn Bridge. They, for me, are the four things that need to be done if you visit New York. I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee. What is your favourite place in the UK? I hardly had to think about this one. We've been lucky enough to travel to a lot of places in the UK, and my favourite is York. It's York. I absolutely love York. We've been there twice. There's something about the place. I just absolutely love York. If you've never been to York, again, highly recommend. Obviously, if you know York well, you'll know what I mean. You've got the shambles. You've got, it's so quaint, but not too, it's not too quiet, it's not too busy. It's just wonderful. I just love the atmosphere of York, and both times, obviously you've got the Minster, you've got York Minster, which is incredible. Just a wonderful place, and both times that we've been,
Interesting question.
Okay. Both times we've been, we have absolutely loved it, and we will go again. So my favourite place in the UK so far is York. Okay, you can be quiet now, watch. Okay, next question. I liked this one. What was Labour like with both children? Okay, Labour. I've got to think back quite a long time now. Both Labours were the same in the fact that both Labours were 24 hours. Yes, they were long labours. Both children were almost 2 weeks late. They were comfortable in there. So them two things were exactly the same, funnily enough. But the experiences of labour were completely different. My first, my first labour with Anastasia, I was in the water for like the first half of it, because I did plan to have a water birth. In the end, that didn't happen, and I ended up delivering not in the water. And and it obviously your mind goes fuzzy with time, doesn't it? Your mind goes fuzzy with time, so it's hard to remember exactly. But I would say, if I had to be totally truthful, my first labour was nowhere near as painful as my second labour. Maybe that was to do with my age, being a lot older when I gave birth the second time, and my body had been through quite a few operations since giving birth the first time. So that might have had something to do with it also. But the second time giving birth to my gorgeous boy Atticus, it was so painful. It was, like I say, very long labour, and I remember a lot more painful, more complicated in the fact that his little heart rate was really going up, so I had to have all like the heart monitors on me and everything else, and I had none of that with Anna. But he was delivered safely, obviously, and it's all completely worth it. So both labours the same in some respects, but very different in pain respects, I feel. But yeah, you soon forget. My nan used to say it's a pain you soon forget, and you do forget it, and it's totally worth it, obviously. Okay, number 7. I think it's question number 7. Are Adidas Sambas worth the money? I see you rocking them. Thank you very much. I live in my Adidas Sambas. I have 2 pairs. I've been so tempted to get a 3rd pair, you know, and I stopped myself. There's a really nice colourway of some Adidas Sambas, and they're like a black and cream, but I feel they're quite similar to the black ones I've got, so I stopped myself. But are they worth the money? They are worth every single penny. I find them so comfy. For me, they are the perfect trainer. So comfy. I wear them with practically everything. They are my go-to shoe. So for me, I will say they are worth every penny. I think they're about £90, something like that. I guess it's quite expensive for a trainer, but completely worth it. So in answer to your question, yes, worth every penny. Adidas Sambas all the way. So next question, travel plans for, it's going dark, it's going light, it's going dark, it's going light. I'm not sure what is going on, but we will work with it. Travel plans for this year. So I have 2 places in mind so far. I have Cornwall. In mind because Atticus has never been to Cornwall. I have only ever been to Cornwall once, which was such a long time ago, to St Ives. It's such a beautiful part of the UK, and I'm thinking Cornwall. Yes, it's a long drive. I think from where we are it's about 6 hours, something like that, but totally worth it. So I'm thinking Cornwall. And then in the summer I'm thinking, well, I would really like to go Pisa. I'd like to go Pisa, which of course is Italy, where we went last year. We went to Rome last year. Again, watch the vlogs below. And simply because I really want to see the Leaning Tower. I want to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I really want to see it. And Italy is great anyway. So I'm thinking Pisa in the summer. So yeah, Cornwall and Pisa. So far, they are in my head. They are my plans. Okay, next question. What is your dream style of house? Again, I didn't have to think about this. My dream style of house is a cottage. It's a cottage. Now, when I say a cottage, I mean a cottage that still has all the character, like the beams and the real fine everything else, but sort of modernised also with modern amenities. But yes, a cottage without a doubt is my dream house. One day we did used to live, me and Anastasia did used to live in a cottage actually, a long time ago now, and I absolutely loved it. It was practically in the middle of nowhere, and I absolutely love it, and I really want to go back to that sort of lifestyle really. So yeah, cottage for sure is my dream home. Okay, number 10. I think it's number 10. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? Again, I know the answer to this. It would be the Cotswolds. We visited the Cotswolds, oh God, where are we now? Last year. Yeah, we visited the Cotswolds last year. Again, you can watch that vlog down below. And an absolutely stunning part of the UK, and some of the houses, the cottages, again, just stunning. And I did toy with the idea of actually relocating to the Cotswolds. That hasn't really happened yet, but if I had a goal, then that would probably be one of my goals, to do that. So yeah, if I could choose to live anywhere in the UK, it would be the Cotswolds. Next question. Tips for staying cool in Italy, as we are going there soon. Oh God, Italy. When we went to Rome last year, oh my God, it was so hot. I can't actually remember the exact temperature, but it was super, 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 super hot. We went, luckily, just after that that intense heat wave that they had. But when we went, it was still incredibly hot. So my tips for staying cool in Italy would be, obviously, I guess it would depend which part, because if you're near a beach or something like that, then it's different. But if you're in like city, if you're like, let's say Rome, for example, which is quite a dry, dusty area, especially down near the Colosseum and the ruins, it's very dry and dusty. I remember that very well. It's so hot. So my tips are, one of them, rechargeable handheld fans. Me and Atticus had one each, and I take them out in my handbag every day, recharge them at night in the hotel, and they are a godsend when you're in a queue, when you're walking around the ruins, like I say, which can be very dry and dusty, so hot. They're just a godsend. And the ones particularly, I got mine from Amazon, and they were really good. They were so good. Like, I think it came with like 3 speed settings, and like the highest one was really powerful and kept us cool. Loads and loads, this goes without saying, but loads and loads of water. So much water. Drink so much water. That's just common sense. But also as well, don't do what I done. When you finish a bottle of water, a tip would be to keep that empty bottle in your bag for when you come across a drinking fountain, which are everywhere in Rome. It's clean water, it's perfectly drinkable, it tastes good. We tried it, and you can fill your bottle up at the water fountains, because there's sometimes, we went to Palatine Hill, and we'd finished our water. I just presumed there'd be somewhere right inside you could buy water, and there wasn't. There was just the water fountains, and I disposed of our bottles. So yeah, when we actually got to the end of the ruins and there was a shop where we could buy water, we drank a whole bottle in seconds each. So that was a lesson, very hard lesson learned. So keep your plastic bottle, and then you can refill them at the water fountains. So water, fan, obviously cool clothing, goes without saying. Even I know when we were down by the Colosseum, I purchased one of the paper umbrellas to keep me cool. They're about, the men and the ladies, they'll sell them for like 10 euros, something like that, and it did the job, because by the Colosseum and everywhere else it's very open, there's no shade. So they are my tips for staying cool in Italy, particularly Rome. If you're by the beach, obviously it's different. You know, you just jump in the sea, you've got your umbrellas for shelter and everything, but if you are in a city, they are my tips. Okay, next, how do you decide what trips to go on in the UK, and where do you book them? I'm gonna have another sip of my coffee. I guess it would be places we haven't been, places we want to visit. I always do my research on places before we go. So just really where we want to go, where there's things that we want to see. I generally, for the UK, 99.9% of the time will book on booking.com. I find that really easy. What I like on there, you can see all the reviews of the place. It's just so easy to book, and because I've booked so many places with them, I get money off each place as well. Really good, booking.com, so I really recommend that for UK trips. That is how I decide. I just think where we haven't been, where we'd like to go. Next question, what would my dream car be? my dream car, didn't even have to think about this one either, my dream car would be a Tesla. One day I will have a Tesla. I was very, very lucky enough to be given one to drive for a week quite a while back now, last year. You can watch that vlog as well, and it converted me to a Tesla. Obviously I had seen them beforehand, obviously never driven one, and it was like, oh yeah, look nice, but when I actually drove one, I actually drove it to York also, and so I'd done long journeys in it and everything, and it was, we had the Model Y, and it converted me to a Tesla, and since then my dream car is a Tesla. So one day I will have a Tesla. Next question. Now I like this one. What is something that I have learned this year so far, considering we're almost in the middle, we are in the middle of February, and obviously I did have to think about this one quite a bit, but what I have learned this year so far would be to let life flow. That whatever is meant for you will be for you, and whatever isn't meant for you, really, just let it go. Just let life flow. Don't force things. Don't try to control so much. Just let life flow and accept what is meant to be will be, and what isn't. An acceptance. That is what I've learned. Not that I didn't know all of that before this year, but I really learned it this year so far. So that's quite a profound lesson to learn, and we're only in February. So yeah, definitely just let life flow. Don't force things, you know, let whatever's going to come in and work with that, and just don't force things. Don't try to control things. It, you know, like I say, it really is what is meant for you will be there. And yeah, that big lesson to learn this year. Okay, and finally we are on the last question. Not quite sure how long this video has been. I feel it's been quite long, but I hope you've enjoyed anyway. Last question. I liked this. I thought this was a good one to finish on. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? So 5 years' time I will be 54. So obviously I thought about this one. You know, you have to think about that. If someone says, you know, if someone says to you, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, you know, you have to sit and really think about that. I see myself in 5 years' time as very abundant. I see myself as being very wealthy, but through hard work. I see a lot of abundance. If I can picture myself in 5 years, I see a lot of abundance through hard work and dedication. I see myself, and Atticus obviously, because he will be, bless him, he is 10 soon, so he will be 15. So I see us living in, like I say, a cottage. I do see that. I still see me doing the job I'm doing, creating content, because I absolutely love it and I think I'm good at it, and it's a dream job. So yes, I still see myself doing this, but I do see it going into other avenues. So that is where I see myself in 5 years' time. So I will have to do another Q&A in 5 years' time, and then insert the answer to this question in the corner, and then we'll see where I actually am in 5 years' time. So that will be, wow, okay, that's going to be 2029. That's mad, but interesting to do. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to remember to do that, so that will be interesting. If you're all still about, then obviously you're going to be about, but if you're still going to be watching this video, my videos, then hopefully you will. And that was my Q&A. That was my latest Q&A. I enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope to people, new followers, etc., that didn't know a great deal about me, you found out some little bits there. And it's always interesting to do. I like seeing your questions, and yeah, so I hope you enjoyed, And of course, I will see you very, very soon for another video.